Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Traders Arena. This is our weekly crypto review that we're doing every Sunday where we're talking about our sort of long term altcoin investment plan. I think I just switched to my screen a little early in the middle of that intro. That's always a crapshoot with our production over here, but we're just trying to stick to trading more than YouTubing. So we're doing our best from a production standpoint, that is. I wouldn't expect any fancy LED lights and uh, clickbaity thumbnails and shit from us in general. Probably cuss too much too, but I'll try to keep that to a minimum. Anyhow, looks like our stream is rolling. So again, welcome back, everybody. Of course, we're doing this every Sunday. We go through our Road to Financial Freedom trading plan, which is just a simple altcoin investment plan with clear rules that we're just basically trying to use as a demonstration of the process that we take to this sort of like cyclical altcoin investing, where we're just trying to buy now that the market's down in the dumps and we're hoping to sell into the bull market down the road. And of course, every Sunday we're here, myself and then also my co-host here, Mr. Paul. Are you you want to pop on and say hi?
Hello, I'm here as usual.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a stupid trader, but at least I'm consistent.
Yeah, you're damn consistent.
Yeah, that's my edge.
More consistent than me. I mean, more consistent than most. I'll say that I know as far as traders. So good for you. Um, I mean, I think I do a pretty good job of showing up. I definitely am not a flake, but you're like rock solid. So anyhow, hey Miku, nice to see you. Mercurio's back trying to win again. He basically wins our little giveaway every week now. He's taking the lead in front of DMAC. Had a nice streak there for after a slump, and then maybe back in a slump. So we'll just have to see what happens today with the with our little giveaway. Because of course, every week we're doing the show every week just for the public, and just trying to show people a possible plan that you could implement relatively easily. I would say probably about the easiest way to approach altcoin investing. And that, Paul will get into that in a minute, but we have our plan written and a spreadsheet that we're using to track every trade that we're doing in this plan, and that's available to everyone if you want to copy that and see exactly where our bids are and what sells we've gotten off and all that stuff. And of course, you can delete all that information if you just want to use the spreadsheet. We have a really cool log that's specifically custom made for altcoin investing and pulling in all the altcoin price data. And it has complete statistics and really cool spreadsheet. So that's what Paul's working from every week. And that was created by Miku, who's also in the chat here, him and his buddies. And that's available to everybody too. So the way to get that is to jump in Discord, in our, you have to become a Discord member on our free channel, and then you'll see a channel called Weekly Crypto Review, and that spreadsheet's there for everybody to make a copy. So check that out. And of course, at the bottom of this link or this YouTube show, we do have a link to join our Discord. It is probably a time-based expiry link because we are trying to kind of cut down on all the like spammer members that are joining and people that aren't serious about trading. They just want to, try to sell you something or scam you in some way. Unfortunately, this day and age, everything's riddled with that. It's like you can't, there's just so much spam in the world now. So anyway, that's always a reminder if you are messing around on Discord to be careful with messages and stuff, people that you think you know that aren't actually who you think. And of course, crypto, you got to have your own security plan anyway, because there's all kinds of risks that come along with fucking around with this stuff. So keep all that in mind always. But anyway, I think just to do the same thing this week that we do every week. We're going to talk. We have a list of coins that are next on our plans list, and then we have some requests. And if we have time, I guess I have a few names that look okay-ish. And then usually I'll just start with kind of a broader market thing. This week, crypto kind of came off a little bit, back down against the lows here, which well, Bitcoin and Ethereum too. But I think it's funny. We were just talking before this, but I mean, this, of course, I've said this a lot, but context is everything. This show is kind of like a weekly context. We're kind of looking at weekly charts, very slow. We have this general opinion that we think this year is a bottoming sort of phase. And so, obviously we had a pretty brutal bear market after the last top, and most of that sort of straight down is behind us. And of course, Bitcoin's, even bounced and doubled off the lows, sort of setting up like what I would call like the bottoming phase. It's not like necessarily the bottom is in right now. It's just like the bottom's building, and there might be a wide range here. Now we have like a range off the lows at whatever the bottom was at 15, 16K, and then the high is up at 32-ish. So we've carved out a range that's basically a double in Bitcoin, and now it's just a question of like, how much sideways do we put in before the real bottom comes in, and that could be the rest of the year into next year. Really, it's hard to, nobody knows for sure. So we're just trying to put ourselves in a position to kind of think about this year as like an accumulation year. Try to buy these altcoins now at the bottom of the range, and then that bull market will come at some point, like sometime. So that's like our weekly context. But like what I was gonna say now is like on like more of a daily context, or zooming in a little bit. I don't know if this is the best place to be super bearish on Bitcoin, which I guess I'll get into in a minute here, because I want to just mention a couple things first, because I usually start with the DXY, and really this thing's still ripping. So in general, as long as this is pointing higher like this, we should think about like some downwards pressure on the risk on markets. So like stocks and Bitcoin and Ethereum and altcoins, all that stuff. So just this here, like, I mean, we've talked about this a lot, thinking that there would be like a pivot high here, kind of a lower high. We've just sort of been grinding downwards, lower highs and lower lows. And as DXY came up into like 200 period moving average resistance and this trend line and 78.6 of the range here, we were wondering if it could roll over here. And I think the jury's out still, but you can see the strength here, because we basically blasted through some of those resistance levels. And just, I mean, we're just straight up here. Quite a pretty expansive move, actually. And now this week we thought we maybe would finally break down with kind of a fractally top looking thing. It's a little weird, but it's almost even an M, but very strange. And it's also kind of like an island with these two gaps on each side. I don't know if any of those terms directly apply to that price action, but sort of toppy looking. And of course it did 3-bar. Well, inside bar would probably be more appropriate. Like this bar here was inside of the preceding high. And then as it gapped through there, that is a sell signal. And of course, we did come off hard and just right into support here and bounce really hard. So we're basically just still trending higher, like in the sort of medium term trend, with the moving averages pointing straight up now. And then we're above the 200. And you can kind of see how we never closed below the 200. We're just bouncing against it, which is always a very bullish sign to me. As much as I am looking for this rollover, I can't say that it's in. So, and one thing I was mentioning is like RSI has been just below overbought here the whole time. So there's still a lot of room for the momentum to keep pushing higher before we're actually overbought. So long story short is we have a 3-bar fractal bottom here now, and we just have blasted off. So I suppose heading into this week, it's kind of like the momentum's sort of, I think, down in risk on just by looking at this, because this looks like it wants to at least take out the high. And at least after you that high, which then puts this high in question, which is just barely above. And there's even like a gap up here. So we might have to just, keep grinding higher. Certainly no top here. So like that sort of coincides with kind of the S&P and the NASDAQ definitely got like strong bounces and do look pretty bullish in terms of just there's this W in now. So I was talking about looking for a pivot here back up. I did think it was going to come in this gap. I thought it might be a better place. So I was kind of, as we ran up into moving average resistance here and then got rejected, I thought it would have made sense to kind of come and fill this gap. And that might have actually set up like RSI divergences and stuff. which hasn't happened as of yet. Instead, we just kind of pulled back and instead made a W, which is, I mean, that's obviously a pretty bottomy looking kind of price pattern there. It's clearly a W. And then like OBV is clearly a W here. RSI is just sort of like, it didn't quite get oversold, and then also is a W, just kind of steep, but it did break the 50 line. So in general, that's sort of like bullish looking. But of course, with the DXY ramping up and then us coming up just basically into Mountain Man here and getting rejected, now we've like carved out this range here basically, and Mountain Man has rejected the price, price moving back up into the top of the range in a short reload zone here. So now I basically just see a range here, and I suppose it's just up in the air what happens. It could easily, this could easily just kind of roll back over here a bit while the DXY ramps up. But any moves back down into here is still a potential long opportunities, I'd say, because there is this gap right here, which I think if like the powers that be want to run this thing higher, they might dip it down here into that gap first, just to sort of, wash everybody out, and then they can get long. That would just be kind of like a Mountain Man type thing. I mean, you could see like there's a setup here if you just kind of think about like the market structure shift here with the W breaking out, and then you draw reload zones. I think this is kind of like Stefan's setup. I'm not quoting it exactly, but like I could see something like this now that the W's in, any dips against 61.8 in this gap down here are potential long opportunities. So it's sort of like into resistance here. And if the DXY is getting pretty nosebleedy, to be fair. So maybe if the DXY rips up this week and this thing pulls back a bit, it might actually set up another move higher for risk on. And ultimately, I think they're likely to go after this gap up here. So I guess what I'm saying here is maybe down and then up on the equities is sort of how I kind of look at this. And the same thing for NASDAQ. So there's not like a lot to say that's different other than, I mean, the gap's a little closer in sense, and the NASDAQ actually has an M where the S&P doesn't truly have an M. But either way, it looks like a range here, right? It looks like we could range for a while after this strong up move. So it all sort of depends on the DXY. I think DXY is a good way to just think about this. That needs to top out more than it hasn't topped out at all before we can really think about these things moving higher. I think that's a pretty reasonable way to look at it. I always mention the Russell 2000, so I'll just say really quick that it did move. I was kind of targeting this 50% level here of this range this week, like hunting longs off of 200 moving average support. So like on lower time frames, this move through here seemed to make sense to me, and they did hit that 50% level. So now going into next week, I'll just be kind of watching to see if same thing like I said in the other indexes, like, and he started a down and then up kind of thing is maybe my that's sort of how I'm thinking about it going into this week, I guess I could say. So we'll see if we get rejected here at the 50% level and set that up. There's also a gap here, just like on the ES and NASDAQ, that I think is like they love to do sneaky. That's like a pretty typical move. I feel like in these futures indexes is they're gonna take, if they want to take it up first. If they want to take it higher, they're gonna take it down first, and that's probably that's a likely location. Like you can see right here is a perfect example. Like they ripped it up a bit. And they wanted to take it higher, but before they did that, see this gap right here? They just went down and filled it and then took it off. So that's kind of how I see it possibly playing out here. And I'll just repeat myself again that it all depends on whether the DXY runs out of steam, because damn, that thing looks like it's ripping. So that's the sort of boring little stock market. And I wouldn't say that Bitcoin has been performing in correlation with the stock market that well, to be honest. I mean, we did get this sort of grayscale news pump, if you want to call it, this week. I don't know. Grayscale had a minor victory with the SEC, I guess, in the courts. Maybe that's the reason this pumped. I don't know. That's the reason everybody was using after the fact. But of course, just took the move immediately back the next 2 days, 3 days. And I remember Paul saying specifically that those kind of sort of not that impactful sounding news stories that create a pump will probably just, not have any staying power. which is exactly what happened with Bitcoin here. It just couldn't get anything. Uh, it just couldn't maintain that rally at all. But really, I mean, it's not a huge surprise because all we did was come up into 200 period moving average support on the daily chart and just get rejected with an inside bar the next day and then dump. So that's not like, I mean, I've said a bunch, like, as we've lost the 200. So now we're going to have to play with it a bit here as it sort of rolls over, and it's become resistance for the moment. So, and it still is resistance in my opinion, if we get back up there. I mean, I think the real story with Bitcoin. Oh, so getting back to what I was saying about being too bearish here. So yeah, on the weekly chart, say like we look at a weekly chart, I could see being a little more bearish. It is a little messy. I think in the weekly chart, same story as last week. I was really looking for a 38.2 tag, which we didn't seem to get up at 35,000 and complete this head and shoulders and all that bit. Didn't get that yet. Doesn't mean it couldn't just happen, but I think right now we're sitting at 38.2. So it's like you can't really. This is a messy chart, sorry, but if I take the range off the very lows at 15,600 up to the current highs, then we're actually just finding support. Right, this is 38.2 right here. Right here at 25.6, which is also the head and shoulders neckline, which is about 25.2 or 3, which is that key level that just started with this tail. It's funny how this tail came down and started this level, and now the level's just been clearly some sort of business is being done there. It's support and resistance depending on what side price is on, and right now we're above it. So like, and you can see the tails just, it's like every time price got down there, it's been supported. So like on a weekly chart, you would usually say that 38, it can't be super bearish here until we're below 38.2 and, in earnest. And then we can start thinking about like reload zones down here and stuff. But as long as price is sitting right here, that's support. And so that's kind of Paul's point earlier before this call, is like, why this is like getting bearish into support. So if you're a trader and you're trying to trade Bitcoin here, like on lower time frames, really you should be thinking longs against these lows, and support holding. This is not a place to be shorting Bitcoin. So hopefully that's clear. If you really want to short Bitcoin, you want to see some sort of bounce. Like we did get this bounce this week. Not up into even the 50% level though. But I mean, if you're thinking like ABCD's down, then you could have maybe zoomed in, that is, like on, thinking short here. But I don't love that location. Ideally we would have gotten up into like these candle body highs at least. But anyway, short locations up here is my point here. If you really want to short this thing, I don't think this is a good place. So let's see what happens here. Any kind of W's here, and we might just be headed up into my 35,000 area. I don't know. So that's like the weekly sort of wait for 38.2 on like starting to zoom in. I don't think you can be super bearish here, but we just, truthfully never got like any sort of W's yet. I mean, we kind of did. This is a really weird one, but there are W's in there. So I don't know. I mean, remember I was talking about looking for a pivot up here. It never really got a W to make this sort of ABCD leg up to 35. That setup never came in, and then we dumped. And now it's sort of W, but really the long story short is we're just above the downtrend line, which is the line all the way off the lows. Holding, sorry, I should say we're not above that. We were holding above it, and then now we've just lost it. But no M's or anything. So an M right here is probably not that great of a sign. We really want to see W's. And of course, we're just Wing out on the other side of this trend line that I've just been tracking. So, and I have said this is sort of a weird trend line. I mean, it is an M right here, and I'm okay with it, but it's not like, I mean, it might be smarter to draw off here, which is actually just going to paint more resistance. If your trend line was like off of this M, we basically just have resistance up here. So depending on how you look at that. But I was kind of working with this for the last ABCD trade that I was hunting. And you can see how it sort of has been active through here with just fighting and then eventually really trying to stay above it. So anyway, really a W somewhere around here would be the next pivot. And right now we don't really have it. We have, I mean, the real tell to me is OBV, but before I get into that, I'll just say the RSI did W out here, and that did produce that pump. That's not a divergence. So like, you know, I had this drawn here because if we, you know, take out these lows briefly and maybe make a W like this, you'll probably see RSI come into divergence here. So like I'm sort of watching for that. But I think the tell is really just OBV. As long as this thing is just Ming out and pointing down, I think you might as well just be patient and wait. See how it's just all M's here, even a new M this week, you know, last day. And now we're just kind of bouncing off that M, but this is a huge M. And really, hopefully you can just see this is trending down. There's no real like bottom here yet. So waiting for a W here would be actually the prudent thing to do. And there's a good example of that in just like the difference between like the S&P here and Bitcoin. Like if I just maybe make OBV bigger here, and you can see where M and out and OBV on Bitcoin and the S&P was, but see how the W came in an S&P and then the move that came after it? It's like that's kind of what I would expect, other than this is not ready to turn into a you know, upwards price action. There's no W bottom here in OBV. And look at Ethereum, even worse. Which moving on. So still, crypto looks a little heavier than stock market, to be honest, for sure. That's still Bitcoin. And I'll just point out Ethereum really quick here because it actually looks worse. And Ethereum, Ethereum looks pretty bad to me as far as like if you're a bull. But really, I just think that, I mean, look at OBV to finish that conversation, just pointing straight down, definitely no W's. And I swear, waiting for this W will improve your odds of chances of success a lot. I mean, you could have taken the RSI W here that did come in, and sure, maybe you caught a trade on that move, and that'd have been, that's fine. Like there was reasonable reasons to, you know, at least be thinking long. I didn't love the tails and stuff, and I, you know, talked about that last week, and you know, a lot of downside risk to that tail, but nonetheless, you had a W in RSI. Is all I'm saying. It would have been better, in my opinion, to wait for this to turn in OBV, which it just hasn't. And really, all I see with Ethereum is it's in a like a medium-term downtrend. You know, exact opposite of the DXY, where the moving averages were pointing really up. These two moving averages are pointing straight up in the DXY, and then the 200 is acting as support for the DXY. This is the exact opposite, where the moving averages are pointing straight down. We got 13 EMA rejection again. You know, we did get above it briefly, but we just basically got rejected here. And then, you know, the 200 is starting to roll over, and it's now resistance. And I had drawn this thinking like maybe shorts against the 200 would have been a decent location, but we never even got up there. And so I think it's sort of like, this looks less bullish to me than Bitcoin. At least Bitcoin's holding its support, whereas this is just drifting down now, and we have this ABCD levels that also coincide with the 50% level of the range. So it kind of seems like this middle of the range, sort of $1,500 mark, is the next stop for Ethereum. Maybe we bounce first. You know, we have this trend line up here too, so any sort of M's up here are even better short location, or maybe it even comes in up way up here. I have no idea, but point being is I think we have a lot of resistance above, and we have this sort of magnet right here at 1,500. So that's Ethereum. And then the key difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin too is we actually lost the lows. We're not making a higher low here. Bitcoin didn't lose this low, so it's still making higher lows, whereas Ethereum has now broken down and truthfully has an M. And it's funny in hindsight how I have this red box here because that was just the sickest 78.6 short. If I were to draw that reload zone again, yeah, 20, basically big fat round number 2030. That's, I mean, did they actually hit it? It might not have actually hit 2030. Let's see. 2029.34. So it was a buck or two short of the actual 78.6, but damn, that's kind of what, like if you're trying to short a market, like unlike, remember I was talking about shorting Bitcoin right here, like down here is a weird place to be short, but right here was a very interesting place to be short. And you can actually see OBV was breaking down too. It hadn't fully M'd out yet, but it was making a lower high as, you know, right before we tagged that 78.6. So that was really cool short location. Also up against this high here, basically just FU'd that high and into this fair value gap right here. So anyway, that's where you want to short markets, not right here. So anyway, that's like broader market overview. basically crypto doesn't look super awesome for the bulls at the moment, or and then altcoins are sort of dragging along as to be expected. Um, some of them are getting hit pretty hard as like Bitcoin and Ethereum are coming off. But there's still some that look decent and are trying to hold weekly W's, and talk about a couple of those today. And it still all fits. Like even if regardless of what Bitcoin does here, we're either gonna grind down into the reload zone and bottom into the end of the year somewhere down here, likely, or maybe we take another stab at 38.2 first and then do that. But either way, I do think we're just carving out this big range, and this is our buy window somewhere over here, our next altcoin buy window. Like there's altcoins that are buyable here, and you might have to take some heat as if Bitcoin comes off. But in general, I'm still just thinking it's just this range here that's being carved out, and like probably going to see some sort of area down here where we're going to be interested in buying again. I don't know where exactly. It could be higher or lower. It could even be like all the way down against the lows. And of course, maybe the market goes to hell and that never happens. But like in general, I'm thinking this is what's happening. So I want to, be mindful of accumulating. Like I said, this is an accumulation year through this period. We made it through the dead cat bounce. That was sort of the crypto rally of the first part of the year, the first quarter. Dead cat bounce off of a brutal bear market. It was just huge bear, dead cat bounce. And now we're just kind of figuring out if it's a bull or a bear. And I think my plan is to just do what I said. I'm looking for this like sort of slide into the end of the year, and I'm going to be shopping for altcoins. So like, that's just what it is. I finally got a double off. It had been a while since I had gotten a double on altcoins, actually. But even this unfi we had talked about a lot, and basically walked everybody through the trade. So hopefully, I know a lot of our group was long, and also they were banging out like 10 to 1s on 5-minute charts on this thing this week. Maybe Paul can show you that, but it's a really sick trade in that pump. But as a weekly investment, sell half on double type thing, this made a lot of sense. And I pointed out the location's clearly good as we came down into like below reload zones through here, and then the OBV divergence came in and confirmed on this candle here, which was the first weekly W breakout, and then the next week we got a much stronger confirmed W breakout, and then they just gave you that entry. And that's kind of like what I was saying about the S&P and stuff. This is like sort of what we do, right? We like look for W's, and then, they usually will break it out. And there's oftentimes a Wyckoff check. There's a chance to get long after the breakout. And it just takes patience. You have to be willing to not chase up here and just say, I'm going to take my bet. And this is the framework of so many setups, whether it's like the ICT setups or the way Stefan trades or the way Paul trade some setups. I definitely like any kind of W buying setup is sort of, you can either try to hit the breakout and just actually long the breakout if you're sitting here looking at it, and you're able to do that, which is oftentimes missed. But yeah, if you're watching this thing, you could. But oftentimes it's better just let it finish breaking out, and then just wait for this chance for the smart money to get long again. That's how I see that. It's like they're basically like, okay, party's on. Now give us our chance to join. And so like how aggressive you are, whether you want to buy 88.6s or 78.6s or 61.8s or the level here like I bought, which is just the actual breakout level, which is sort of like kind of the most aggressive, I suppose, of this sort of strategy, depending on where that level is, because it's not often in a reload zone. Like in this case, if I was drawing my, if like price ran up to here, I think I had my bid there actually, like by the time this was closed. So you can see that's only 38.2. So it's a little more aggressive to hit that breakout level of that range. Even if we took that range, it's still only like not even the 50% level. So that's what I mean by more aggressive. I could have been a little snipier and hit Mountain Man. And I also could have gotten left behind if I would have hit 78.6 and 88.6, which is why you'll see I usually do, like, I sprinkle, I often sprinkle my bids through here. In this particular case, I just hit that level. And anyway, this is a no-brainer. This is exactly like a YGG from a while back, which I also will toot my own horn out as like telling everybody about and not even trading it because I can't trade on KuCoin anymore. But I basically walked everyone through this W. Um, I mean, it was, this one's a little sneakier and you got to zoom into the daily chart to see it. But like, same thing, they broke the weekly W out and then they gave everybody a chance to get long at that level the next week before launching it. So, and now ironically, we're all the way back down this pump and dump. So like, I suppose if you got a double here, you might be interested in reloading down here. You can see how they dipped it all the way into the W and bounced it again, but there's just not a lot of momentum behind altcoins right now. So it's not a huge surprise it's having a hard time bouncing here. Plus, it was just like a straight up, straight down kind of thing. Also, OBV divergences coming in through here too. So that's just kind of my basic setup in a nutshell. So anyway, I did get a double off. That was kind of nice. And then I'm just like noticing like OXT here up on the day because this is another weekly W that I have recently bought that we also have talked about quite a lot, I think. Same kind of thing, but ugly ass W because of this wick here in the middle. But the W came in, whether you wanted to use like the candle body highs here as your breakout level, that's up to you. But the OBV divergence is now confirmed, and we got this sort of sizable breakout a few weeks back. And then you can see how they've just given multiple weeks now of chances to buy in the reload zone here. You can see where I got filled on these three. Like I was saying, I like to sprinkle 3 bids. So I was a little more aggressive hitting Mountain Man up here, and then ended up getting filled on all 3. So I should be averaged in around somewhere in this area here, which is basically the weekly W. If you were to look at like a line chart or something, that'd probably be the best way of looking at this because of that huge weird middle wick, I would consider that more the breakout level, and that's also the 78.6 area. So at like 57 cents, 56 cents. So hopefully I'm averaging right around there. I should be. That's sort of the goal for me. I've said that a lot too. Like, it's not uncommon to see these W's come in around 78.6 of ranges, and it's also in these sort of weekly charts. I try to get averaged in around 78.6. That really improves my chances of getting a double off while being relatively loose about location, or at least being a little more aggressive, like hitting Mountain Man. And then if we do get a strong bounce off Mountain Man, I'll get a double, or I'll usually go underwater like this. But at the end of the day, I kind of made my way in, and that's cool. I'm long from around here. And if it would have bounced off Mountain Man, that's okay too. I would have still been involved. So anyway, that's a little tutorial on buying W's. That's basically all we're doing here. All I'm doing. Our road to financial freedom plan is actually even a little simpler in the sense that it's not, I'm waiting for a few rules that we're not necessarily waiting for in that plan. I'm looking for location, divergence, and then a W. So it's actually like 3 rules in my trade as opposed to the road to financial freedom where we're using W's a little more, but we're also willing to just hit levels too with just like a one rule location trade. Just so that's a little, it like simplifies it a little bit, but it's also more information risk. I guess you'd say it's more. You have less information to base your trade off of, so you might have to weather some deeper underwater periods. Whereas I've kind of tried to refine this down to being really patient and not buying too early, which takes a little more work and a lot more patience. So anyway, that's my bit on that. And I'll always just keep reporting these trades. And of course, on Tuesdays, I'm doing another show where I'll also be covering all these. So if you want to watch where I'll actually kind of cover my altcoin plan, that's a little bit more, it's a little different than the road to financial freedom plan, then that's where you can hear me talk about this stuff. And you can see some of the names I've been interested lately are in this list here. So I'll leave that there for now, and Paul can hop on and sort of go over our other plan, and then we'll just jump into some other names that people have asked about. So are you ready to do that, Paul? Maybe. I haven't really been catching up with the comments too. Hey, Shogun.
Yep, I'm here.
Hanya
Can you
made
hear
it.
me?
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, can you can switch to my.
Oh yeah, I gotta switch. That part would help. Let's see. Where are you? I was just glad I even had the right screen when I started, to be honest, because I hadn't. Yeah, so we're looking at this is the spreadsheet I was talking about earlier.
So, guys, it's the same plan. Yeah, we didn't change anything. Same simple and, in my view, complete plan. If until now you didn't read this plan, read it and maybe implement it or modify it or do whatever you want. Yeah, you can copy this spreadsheet, you can make your own, or you can just follow this one. It's up to you. But please, just one request: read the red print here, please. We are not financial advisors, so it's up to you what you're doing with your own money. We are just entertaining here and tell you what we are doing with our own money. Yeah, it's my limit order. I put in the market with my own money. I'm not. If you want to follow my plan, yeah, it's up to you. I consider that it's a good plan, but it's made by me, so it's definitely. Uh, I will think it's a good one. Yeah. So it's totally up to you. Okay, so let's go on where we talked about the first 5 coins again. Yeah, we had Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Ripple, and Cardano. And now we'll take the other 5: Doge, Matic, Sol, and Dot, and SHIB, I guess. So let's start with first one. That's Doge, and you can see we already have some in here. We didn't get a fill. We don't have that weekly W, the big one I was expecting. You can see where my first limit order is a lot lower. I'm okay with keeping that order. I don't see any hurry to buy Doge at this level. Yeah, we are starting to go sideways. We had a nice bounce, nothing unusual, and now we are testing the support. If this support will not hold, the next level is this one. And you can see this W here where the bull market started is still untested. I'm okay with waiting with a limit order at this level. So on Doge, I could see a market ranging in this area. If you are a trader, you can hunt for a W at 88.6 is not a bad idea. But keep in mind, here we are speaking about investments. So I'll keep my limit order here. Indicators, OBV looks okay, RSI looks okay-ish, nothing to say about that. Some bullish divergence in the move down, but you know that market could point out some bullish divergence and go sideways for a long period of time. And Doge likes to range a lot. Yeah, you look here, you can see a lot of consolidation until Elon Musk decided that he wants to pump Doge. I don't know if we'll get this level, but for the moment I don't see any big W forming. I don't see too much strength on Doge. Maybe needs to cool off a little bit. Yeah. Usually a move like that needs a lot of cooling off, a lot of ranging, testing the lower levels. You can see we have some level to test. So Doge, I still keep my order there, nothing to do at this point. Let's take a look at the next one. So Doge, let's see Matic. So some people said I'm crazy that I'm waiting here. Maybe I am. Well, maybe I am. But this was just a dead cat bounce in my view. Yeah, it's strong. I know it's the strongest. Doesn't matter. Market moved straight down, bounced, and now needs to consolidate and go sideways. And that consolidation, if I get a week to take my entry, I'm okay with that. I don't know if I'll be so lucky to get that one. Maybe we'll have a W above that level, breakout and retest. Then I could buy 0.5 higher than my first limit order. But for the moment, you can see how the chart is looking on weekly chart. Up, down, dead cat bounce, a really nice one. If you manage to get an entry here, okay. Now you can see it's testing this support. If market will do, I don't know, something ugly, we can get our limit order fill, sell half on a double, and from that point, risk free is the best position possible. So On Matic, I'll keep my order. And people who are serious and they are taking notes or they have a journal, they all understand how they are or thinking in this area when everyone this one is going up and how they are thinking now. Yeah? You need a complete cycle of bear bull cycle or bull bear cycle to understand the market and how much the market could stay in a downtrend. Yeah. Some people say, okay, you can see we have a lot of, we bounce from here, we'll go straight up. No, a bear market will take a lot of consolidation. Look left. You can see from 2019 to 2021, just going sideways. We need kind of the same attitude here. So my order, it's exactly where should be. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. And let's see what we have. Solana. Solana holding okay, really nice. I like the fact that it's going sideways with all the bad news they had. Solana is holding really nice. That doesn't mean I will not get my order filled at $5. Yeah? I don't think it's any of I have any business to modify that order. What I can do on Solana, because Solana is holding nice, is holding the levels, I could wait for a new weekly W here. If I'll get in the long reload zone a new W on weekly chart, breakout and retest, then I could buy 0.5 a bit higher. But I'll keep my order here at $5 or $4.95. I could try to get an entry a bit higher at 0.5. I don't think it's wrong to, if I'll see a weekly W, a new one. For the moment, it's just ranging, and my order is exactly where it should be. So neither on Solana, I don't have anything to do. If I don't have a fill, I don't have anything else to do. Just wait. A lot of patience. Sorry about my voice. I'm a bit cold, so bear with me. Dot, the next one. You can see what happens with Dot. We bought at 5.5. When we bought that, the market was, when we put this order, market was here at $7 or $8, and nobody think that maybe we'll get a fill or maybe not. You can see now it's testing the support lower, and we can go a lot lower. We bought 0.5. We should wait for a weekly double. It's that simple. If you are a trader, that yeah, you can watch a power of 3 on daily chart here on Dot. Maybe. But for our plan, we bought 0.5. We don't know how low the bottom will be. We should wait for a weekly W. I don't see anything special about this one. Yeah, we have the sell half on a double at $11, and we are just waiting. To buy another 0.5, we need a bigger, a next weekly double. And preferably wide and not to, I don't know, with a small window of risk maybe for a trader. But for us, we need that weekly W, breakout preferably, and a retest, and trying to buy at the retest will have a better chance. Nothing to do on this one. We have our shot, and watch out to have your sell half on a double in the market. We don't know when this one will bounce and how high will go. Nothing to do. Let's see indicators. I don't see anything special, honestly. It's just trying to hang this support. It's trying to defend this support. I don't know. Looks weak, honestly. I think already broke that support. Yeah, you can see low, lower low, another lower low. I don't think it's in our best interest to try to catch falling knives here. Let's wait. Even if you are a trader, wait a little bit. Wait for a clear W on lower time frames. Maybe a daily W, but I prefer breakout and retest to enter a trade on this one. So nothing to do overall. The next one is Shiba. Same kind of thinking, yeah. At least this one had a fucking nice pump. Who made some money here? Okay. Don't touch it. Let it clean itself up. It's going sideways. too many coins in the market, I guess. We bought 0.5. We have our sell half on a double. We are waiting down below here. If I'll see a W forming here at the lows, okay, maybe. But I don't see that weekly W forming yet. This one could go a lot lower, and the higher they go, the lower, the longer should be the consolidation. So I don't think it's in our interest to buy another 0.5 here. We should wait. We should wait. We'll probably retest this level, maybe go even lower, and then we'll form a weekly double. I don't say don't buy this one. Okay, if you have a dollar cost averaging plan, now it's time to start dollar cost averaging on this one. And you can see lower highs and lower lows. So we have a lower high here, and we can put a lower low and take this support. We'll see. But for the moment, keep in mind the summer is over. I don't think it's in our best interest now to overreact and say, okay, it's cheap, let's buy it. No, let's wait. Let's wait for a complete idea, for if you're a trader, a complete setup. If you are an investor, wait for a weekly double. That's why we are you'll see Kevin, you'll see me talking about that weekly double. Why? Because it's a double bottom on weekly chart, and that will tell you that maybe or probably the bottom is it. If you don't have a weekly double, you don't have a double bottom, the market is still in that kind of environment, lower highs and lower lows, so it could go a lot lower. Let's just wait and be patient. I guess people who watched us from the beginning, they understood already the power of to be patient and to wait for your order to be filled. Some people, they are upset that Bitcoin is going down. People who follow our plan, they are happy seeing Bitcoin going down. That means they'll get more fills. That means that their plan and their limit orders, they are get filled. They'll probably get some sell half on the doubles on the next pump, and they could reload and so on. So it's a different approach. It's a longer term, but we are not upset that Bitcoin is going down. Okay, that's our 5 coins. Nothing to do on neither one. Just waiting with the limit order. About Bitcoin and being bearish at support. I have the same chart here, and you can see nothing changed. Yeah? Like I said in this here, everyone was bearish at 25. And I said, don't be bearish at support. Please don't take a grain of salt, influencers. They are bearish at support usually. And you see what happened. News or without news, we pumped. Yeah? And where we stopped on the upper support and resistance level. Because this pump was about some news, I even said I don't trust pumps from news. Even if it's Elon Musk, if it's China, if it's ETF, doesn't matter. Pumps like that usually don't last too much. Yeah? And you can see, we started the pump here, we bounced from, we rejected from the support and resistance at 28, and now we're below that where the initial move started. That's usually take some notes. That usually happen in the pump and dump, in a news pump or something similar. They'll start from a level, they'll pump, and they'll dump below that level. So don't try to buy it here. Now we should wait for a W on daily chart or a 3-bar fractal or something to tell us that we can bounce again. But we can do the same we did before the pump. And the ugliest thing for traders is going sideways. If we'll do that, a lot of people will lose money because they'll try to anticipate a breakout. They don't want to play the range game. They want to play the trend game, the breakout. And the market will stay in a range and they'll stop them out, up and down. Let's see what will happen. I have limit orders below. That's for sure. Yeah. And I'm thinking to hunt seriously, to hunt long ideas. You can see there's a few longs level, support and resistance here. If I will see a 3-bar fractal here, definitely I'm interested to take a shot. Take a shot means that I'll find a setup, I'll play a long setup. If I'll be proven wrong, I'll just get the fuck out and I'll wait below. That doesn't mean the market 100% has to bounce from this level. But I have an edge, I have an advantage. Market bounced multiple times from this level, so I'm thinking that they should probably do it again. It's that simple. It's an important level, support and resistance. It's where I'll pay attention mostly and where I'll try to long. It's that simple. Don't be bearish here. People who follow us, they know how we are playing the range game. For the moment, yeah, we bounced from 15K. We are at 30. We made a double, but we are still in that environment, an arranging bottoming formation. Yeah? Even if you are trying to become bullish, the halving is close. Yeah, the bull market will start at some point, but we are not in that environment. We're not so bullish yet. So playing the range game is the best game you can play for the moment. Next year we'll see. Maybe the game will change, but for the moment, even if you are a swing trader, play the range game. You don't need to play the trend. Okay, I blabbed away way too much for my cold.
That was well said.
Yeah, I think I'll do the giveaway, Kevin.
Okay,
I'll let you I'll let you continue after that.
sounds good.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll lose my voice. So let's see. I'll pick a winner. Just one. Elvis. So this time it's Elvis who won the giveaway. I guess Elvis is on premium already or not. I don't know. Elvis, please DM me on Discord and I'll give you the. We'll discuss if you want a 1 month premium membership or you want a one-to-one with me, Kevin or Stefan. If you
Cool.
want to participate in the giveaway to get a premium membership, just it's a simple thing to do. Just retweet the pinned tweet. I pinned in the last live stream. Just retweet this one. If you want to tag some friends, it's not necessary, but if you want to do it, you can do it. Retweet this tweet and we'll do the draw next Sunday. Guys, my voice is a bit off. I'm a bit, let's say a bit cold. I'll let Kevin continue. I'll still be here, but I'm not able to speak too much.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
Kevin, if you want.
No problem. Thank you though for that. And I think the range game. Paul's a classic range trader.
Yeah, the range game is most profitable. Why? It's easy to play. If you know to play it, it's easy to play, and the range is 70 to 80% of the time. So you can find the range easily than when you can find the trend.
Yeah. And of course, then again, context is everything because, like, you know, when we're trying to do here, like, where's the range on OXT? I mean, the weekly range is obviously, yeah. We're considering all of this. So, of course,
Yeah.
if you're buying something like this, you're looking for way higher, right? You're not just trying to,
Yeah, that environment pretends to don't use a stop loss. You are too low. You should invest there, little old lady.
Yeah, but I mean,
you should find a smaller range.
yeah, and to be fair, we've also carved out a range here now, so we're at the bottom of this range.
Yeah,
so we're in long location here, not short location.
We can play SFU up and down in that area. Only SFU. If you don't have any other setup, you can play SFU there.
I mean, funny enough, if you drew fibs off here, you'd probably see, yeah, just Mountain Man. This was actually like a Mountain Man setup, short.
Yeah.
So, we're not really shorting all. I mean, I'm not, because I actually can't really trade altcoins like that anymore now that I don't have anywhere to trade swaps.
Not to short altcoins in this environment. It's not the best environment to short altcoins.
Yeah. But I mean, this is like classic setup.
So they could bounce a lot higher. I don't want to assume that.
Yeah, totally. All right, cool. Well, yeah, there is a handful of requests. I think I'll start with PYR, even though we've talked about it a lot, just because um, somebody in the chat here. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce your name right, but Aditya, I probably did a horrible job. They're saying that PYR is supposed to have a big fundamental news coming this week. So I don't know what that news is specifically, but that's interesting because also Hanya had asked me about PYR, and it's also just been one that I've been talking about. It's on my list here. I think I even marked it pink today as one. Yeah. So actually, damn. I mean, well, first off, this chart looks awesome. I mean, it's been this has been a conversation in these shows here for a couple of weeks now, 3 or 4 probably at least. But I mean, first glance, this thing looks like about as perfect as any altcoin could look, in my opinion. So this has like it has all the qualities that I would want to see in a bottom, like in a cycle bottom. And so, and what I mean by that is, I mean, first and foremost, just this nice sideways channel that's built. That's like anytime you see, you could see the bear market just collapsed, but then something changed here, and we went into a range, but this range is just getting tighter and tighter, and it's just sort of maintaining this sideways channel. And it's it's said that the longer these things consolidate like this, the bigger the move will be on the other side. That's like a good way to look at this. So this is exactly what you want to see, as opposed to something like well, those ones that Paul was just looking at that are like making new lows still. They're still in kind of this environment where, yeah, they like bounced, but then they, bounced pretty good, but then lost the low. That's not the environment. I mean, you don't want to be shopping really. I mean, there was a W there, and sure, if we would have held the lows here, maybe this could have built higher. But you can see how we just had to go through more bear. So, but man, zoomed out like this, that looks awesome. And so, that's the sort of channel idea. But then clearly we have, we established a range here, and we've now come down to the bottom of that range, and we're holding it. And actually, this thing weekly W'd back here. So really, anywhere off of this level is I like any buys at like 341 and below were pretty reasonable, because remember I was talking about, like you can see what they did here. Like this Wyckoff check took a little longer. I mean, it took like a couple months, 3 months almost, but still same thing. They broke the weekly W out, almost gave people a chance to buy it. Not quite. It was just like a few ticks above, but like they still Wyckoff checked it before they bounced it. And of course, the bounce didn't really have like double capabilities. It didn't get out. It didn't really take off. But you can see it came down again here, and gave everybody chances to load up here, which is just like a reload zone. If you drew fibs off of that level, you could see how they just came down into the breakout level, got 61.8, 78.6 held or hit, and then 88.6 not quite. And then sure enough, later they did fill 88.6. So anybody buying down in here, I wouldn't have faulted you, just because the setup was already in for me. Like just basically this weekly W on OBV W's here. Not really divergences, because this low is held so far, but W's for sure. So yeah, so like right there would have been a chance. That would have been like the first opportunity where I would have said, okay, I could see taking a shot here. I wouldn't have been as interested over here just because of V bottom, not a W, and also OBV pointing down. But I mean, that was like back in December, so that was pure. This didn't really participate in the first quarter sort of dead cat bounce, if you want to call it, or Bitcoin's move. This kind of didn't have as much momentum behind it as some of the other altcoins, so there weren't doubles to be had here, but. But either way, flash forward to today, this thing now does have OBV divergence here, because we actually did, technically made a new low there. So we did just dip down to new lows here, and OBV was not making new lows. You can see like W came in, then another W here, and now a wider W to actually confirm that divergence on this candle, which was kind of like, remember from a few weeks ago, we're looking at these kind of going like these weekly W's are weak, weak weekly W's, just because they popped up here but didn't have any staying power. And so our close actually ended up being way back down at the bottom again. So it's kind of like, I did step in and start buying here, but this was also uh, just sort of not exactly what you want to see here. You want to see a stronger close. And then sure enough, now we're closing today. So let's just see what happens here. This must be that FA. Maybe there's sort of like a buy the rumor kind of event here where if there is some sort of FA event happening this week, people are front running that. But either way, you can see we likely will close with the solid candle body close above the W level. I mean, I shouldn't say likely. I mean, that's like, I don't know, 6 hours away or something, 7 hours away. So we'll see where this closes. Hopefully it just stays strong here. But if it does, then this thing's got all the reasons to I don't have a problem just with the three, this is like my level where I start buying at 366, which is just that W level again. And then I also like, waiting for this to close and just hunting pullbacks. So I think this one looks really good actually. But wherever this top comes in, say it's like there today, we close the week there, then I definitely think that working bids below in the reloads. Oh, where did I lose my box from? That's weird. Oh yeah, they moved it down there. I forgot. Anyway, somewhere down here is like sort of the sniper levels, if you want to call them that, sort of cheapy levels. And maybe you get filled, maybe you don't. I mean, to be fair, this thing kind of looks ready to go. So I can't guarantee that it's going to take off here, but there's no reason why I couldn't pull like a YGG right here. It's got all the reasons already. So like, you might not get that fill anymore, but you could see how YGG just took off. I mean, this is what, if you fancy yourself a person that's trying to buy weekly breakouts and trying to time your purchase into the, in a way that, doesn't have you sort of like nibbling this whole way down and you're actually trying to get in right here when it's ready to blow. Of course, this one didn't have the sideways consolidation, so it wasn't even set up as well. But I mean, this is exactly what you want to see if you're trying to catch that move. And so I would say that PYR could take off this week. Maybe this event, where was I just looking at it on? That's my old trade from Qcoin. Cause I do, I was actually buying back in there too on Qcoin. Where was I looking? So I never got a double off that originally. I guess I was looking at it here on Binance. Anyway, hopefully you can see this thing looks like it could easily take off this week. Not saying it's going to happen for sure, but if it was going to happen, I would expect something that looks like this to do it. So that's one of my favorites right now, to be honest. And now a couple people have asked about it today. So yeah, keep an eye on PYR, Peer, whatever it is. And then I do have a few more. I see some requests in the chat. I'll get to those too, but I also have some. I have Rune, which I know Rune's another one that looks. Unfortunately, I don't think Rune's buyable right at current levels, but it damn looks nice. So this is one where I did start just kind of buying against the lows here. I didn't truly wait for a weekly W, and you can kind of see how the weekly W has now come in basically right where I was buying. So did front run my setup here a little bit, but I wanted to buy this thing just because of basically people telling me that it is good. And I didn't quite get a double off because I'm long from like 117, 116, and it didn't quite get up here to my double levels, which were just a little higher than price got. But either way, now it looks even better, I'd say. It's just we need to see if we get another chance to enter here. So, I mean, to start, like, I don't know how much previous history there is elsewhere on this, but just using these current lows, you can see the location's good. Just, very simply drawn fibs. We're sitting below 88.6 of the whole cycle. So that's like reason one's pretty good. Then of course, like as price did come down into like these lows here, you can see OBV came in and actually made divergence here. So that sort of was like the first like sign of a bottom, like that divergence that broke out here on this pump. And sure enough, there was a weekly W there. So I could, this is a good example actually of a failed setup. Or not necessarily failed, but if you're just if you're trading against this low, it would be failed. But this would be like the first W that I could have seen stepping in on, although it does look kind of steep. I don't love that. We were getting W's and OBV and potential divergence there. We didn't truly get confirmation till here. But I suppose I could have seen, there's no problem with stepping in here on that pullback against there. It's just this W was kind of ugly, to be honest. So it failed, of course, and we lost the lows. Even Ming out, But here we are again with a cleaner looking W, in my opinion. That's a lot nicer looking than this one. Definitely has a deeper right side, which I want to see. And now we actually have confirmed even another divergence. So we've confirmed this one here, that confirmed on this move. And then now we dipped to a new low, and now we're still just basically in a giant divergence. So I like that. And technically that confirmed on, I guess probably, well, one of those two candles. It's definitely confirmed now as we broke through that high. I think it was, did it actually confirm there? No. So it confirmed on this high here. And so anyway, you got a weekly W. So at this point, like definitely buyable, like 100 for me, like the setup's in for me 100%. It's just like, I'm not going to chase it right here. And you can see this ugly shooting star here. That's not a great looking weekly close. Definitely looks like they want to bring it back down. But I think simply just draw your fibs and, you could see I'm basically long right off the middle of the reload zone, but I mean, I could see buying anywhere below 61.8, which is 125.6. So pretty likely they'll bring it down there. I don't know for a fact. I mean, whatever was pushing this higher seems to have run out a little bit of steam. I mean, OBV isn't really doing anything. It's still just trending higher. Of course, it could M out here, which sort of isn't a deal breaker because we're basically just trending higher. Really want to just see this thing continue to trend higher would be ideal. So if it comes back against these W's, hopefully it finds support, but too early to tell that. I think just in general, the setup's in, and I like the levels that are down here. Like I'd definitely like just hitting the breakout level right above 78.6 at 110, 111. I don't mind my level, and I don't mind even just 61.8 would be the more aggressive. That's like the more aggressive shot here where you might have to just take heat here. Because this thing might take another, this doesn't have that same sideways channel as Pure, I could say. It's sort of building, but we basically were still making new lows all the way to here. So this thing might still just range a lot more. Whereas that Pure, it's like it's ranged so much now that it's like it'll either take off or fail. It's like, I don't know. It's ready to go. This one could easily just sort of bang around here for who knows how long. But I don't have a problem with buying anywhere in there because I just think it's going to kind of do that end of the year bottom. And it already has a weekly W to base itself off of. So like I'll randomly pick, I think this one looks like shit. Yeah, something like this. Hopefully you can see the difference. Like here, we did get OBV divergence through there. But hopefully you can see a very clear difference between this thing, which is still trending down lower. We even last week made a lower low, so we're at lows. We even took out this kilo here. And in general, it's just trending down. No W. So I want to see a bare minimum of a W here just to make me think it's bottom. And Rune has that now. So this is a perfect example of how being patient is because, I mean, of course, everybody buys right here. They see it taking off, and they're like, oh, fuck, I don't want to miss this huge pump. So they go and buy right here, and then it just shits on them right afterwards because this is the general process, right? Weekly W marks the bottom, and then the pullback marks the entry. That's like the patience part. You just have to train yourself to just to trust that most of the time they'll give you a chance to get long again. They don't always just go. Sometimes it goes straight up, and you'll miss those, but like, in general, they give you a chance to get filled if you're willing to be patient enough to wait for it. So that's how I see that. But Rune looks damn good, and that one has the FA thumbs up from a lot of people. So I don't know, whatever that means. In general, I think of it as sort of a higher quality coin, whatever that means in crypto. Is there such a thing? Of course, like Unfi, everybody was shitting all over my well, not my Unfi. We were all long, but apparently this thing's like a dead coin. Like their website's not even up and stuff. So like, you can see you can still pump a shit coin. We all know this, right? So, right now I don't even know if FA, I mean, I wish FA was more important in crypto because I'd like to see the space be legitimate and actually have purpose. But to be honest, it's mostly just speculative gambling right now, right? So it's more about the sentiment than the actual name. Like there's probably a reason, like whoever's market making this thing probably is just trying to exit, or who knows, they pumped this for whatever reason and they're in the process of sucking people in. But man, it's still making it's not done yet. But I think Rune's a little better. Maybe people can enlighten me on that. This one's funny. Trias. I always just like this name because of TRI, but I don't really know what it is. It's just one that I recognize. And damn, so I mean, Hanya asked me about these, and I mean, those are a couple. All of them have looked good. So nice one, Hanya. Like PYR Rune, and now this one looks exactly like we want it to look. So you're on the right track for sure. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, these are all going to sound the same. Hopefully, if it's a nice looking chart, I should be saying the same things. And, location's clearly good again. I mean, bottom of the range after this last cycle, you can draw fibs if you want, and you'll see that it's just like below 88.6. So way, that means it's come off, like taking back in almost the entire move. And so just in that, and you're not chasing buying down here, bare minimum. You're not buying uppy markets, so that's good. But then surely enough, slowly, it like didn't get an OBV div here, which would have been nice. So like, we made a new low in OBV there. So we didn't actually get a divergence there. That would have been cool. But we did just turn around and make a W right after that and actually confirm that W right there, or right here. And then we actually made another W, which confirmed on this wider weekly W, and that's that check I've been talking about. So now, to be fair, remember I was talking about aggressive W buying. It's like, I mean, you can see they give you 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks to buy that level before giving you a double, actually, because that's 470. So you could have bought this 215 level and been selling at 430. So you had already gotten a double off of that Wyckoff check there. But, like I was saying about aggressive Wing, I can't tell you who you are or how you're going to trade these things. But I will say that this is that same story I was talking about here, where they don't always hit the reload zone. So you have to kind of, if it's a wider W like this, we're actually, there's like, I mean, funny enough, they almost hit Mountain Man there, but not quite. A Mountain Man was down here at 183 and the lows were 192. So this is a perfect example of are you aggressive enough to buy the W? Like, is that in your plan to like, for me it is, but I can't say that for you. So like, that's what I would call like the most aggressive way of buy bottom. Because you're not in a reload zone. You're actually just trying to buy this W. And sure enough, I could show you ones that have failed. I can even think of stocks right off the top of my head where like I've done this and had to, later be like, well, you should have just been, or even like Unfi, that one I was showing earlier. Like, I mean, I could have been snipier and actually gotten filled down here, but I chose to just buy the level and it happened to dip first before it. So I could have gotten filled, but you never really know, right? So you just have to figure out what works for you. Like, I figured out that by waiting for the W and OBV and waiting for location and waiting for a weekly W, I'm more comfortable with buying this, this level, even though that was technically only the 50% level. We didn't get down to reload zones. But remember, location is good because I'm like below 88.6 here. So it's not like I'm chasing right there. It's just that I'm accepting more downside risk by not buying in a reload zone of the current range. So anyway, where is it now? It's just trending super hot. OBV's trending higher. The market's trending higher, making higher highs and higher lows. This dip came down and didn't take out the last low. So it's still just trending up. Unfortunately, can't really buy it right here, though, because, now you're chasing, I'd say. Remember, it doubled here for the people that were buying here. And then, of course, anybody buying against the lows might have did quite a bit better. That's like $1, and that's less than $1 down there. So there's, anybody that was long from down here has had quite a trade. So right here, I don't know. I like the chart a lot, but I don't think it's I'd prefer to just at this point now wait for another tag of the reload zone, assuming that that we do head lower into the end of the year in general in the market. Then I think you probably get another chance to buy that same level there. Um, Maybe we have to dip lower. Maybe you wait for another W to come in before you truly get long again or get long. I don't really love it right here though. I mean, I think it could go a lot higher from where it is, depending on, depending on what happens. It's clearly, I mean, it's pretty like that's a pretty big move. So, but clearly the base is set for the moment until something changes. There's not really any breakdown here. I suppose you could draw like a trend line off the top for fun and you'd see like sort of maybe resistance for now. So like maybe we shoot up into that trend line before we come back down. This is like only on KuCoin it looked like, or at least it wasn't on Binance or any bigger exchanges. So I don't know. Maybe this thing rips from here. But I think waiting for the next opportunity would be the best. But it looks, I mean, it's totally a good looking chart, like for sure. That's the exact kind of thing I would rather be buying as opposed to like that other one that I was pointing out that just, I don't want to buy this here. It just looks too weak. So anyway, there's 3 and then got a couple more. Try to wrap this up here. I got about 15 minutes, so I'll just kind of looks like Gala is one from the chat here. See, I've clearly looked at it here in the past. Right away, I see OBV making a new low here and just M, so I'm not thrilled. And I also see price really testing the current lows and kind of looking heavy. You can see the W I was talking about looking for in the past never came in. So that's the tell right there of what I'm going to say now. I'm not going to buy this thing at all. Yeah, it could go, who knows? It could lose all of its value from here. There's nothing to really, it's not that I don't know what's going to happen. It could turn, sometimes these things will just, maybe we wake up tomorrow and it's like 5x up. Like it wouldn't be the first time I've seen that happen. It's just, that's not a setup. So it's like it might happen, but I don't have any justification for buying right here, assuming that's going to happen. I'd rather wait for a real W and, better my odds. If we did get a W here, that'd be an Adam and Eve. Actually, this V bottom with the W on this side, that's a nice setup or a nice structure to work with. But really, we're just testing the lows here. So let's just see what happens. But ideally, this will now come in. And really, like I had this trend line on here. Maybe it takes all the time, maybe it takes time to actually get on the other side of the trend line first. But for me, I would say, well, location's okay. It's down against the lows. So, okay, fine. But like, I want to see, I mean, they did WOBV. So at least I could have been like, and that's that. I think this is probably what I was talking about back then is sort of like a kind of an ugly looking W against a OBVW. So I can see that. Like, I don't love it, but that's an okay place to maybe entertain buying that W. I don't know. I would prefer to see one like this that I had drawn where it's like, actually would have come in right here and held the lows and but really now that the trend line is this trend line here might be better to wait, but either way, no bottom. Now I'll just wait for either a divergence in OBV or a solid W in OBV before I even start thinking about buying this. And then surely after that, like probably get a W in price and then then I can buy it. So this one's a no for me. But cool, just keep an eye on it and just patiently wait. Ape. I know Ape had a weekly W back here that failed. Just get rid of those. I don't even know what I was doing there. This one's a lot like Gala. So, I mean, not my favorite. Like, I mean, anybody that listens to me probably should just know what I'm going to say here. But, it's kind of like the exact same as Gala. It's basically down against the lows again. Very strong downtrend. Like, sure, we did have, I mean, you could see that we did actually get divergence potentially. Like when we moved to a new low here, And I actually bought this thing on Qcoin, and then I ended up liquidating it anyway because I got kicked off Qcoin, and it just one. I don't know. I didn't have a reason to stay with it. So this is one of the ones I did buy this W though. Anyhow, let's see. Yeah, I mean, anyway, my point is here, OBV divergence was coming in here. It didn't actually confirm until after the W broke out, but I could see hitting it here. That was fine. Buying the pullback to the W. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a fail. It didn't work. And now it looks like hell. So, of course, the only thing it has going for it for the Bulls is how bad it's gotten beaten down. But that's not enough of a reason. Like, clearly there's like blood in the streets, but it's not really, there's nothing saying there's not going to be a lot more blood. So, like, I could see buying against if you like this name and you think it has a future, then sure, you're buying against the lows. You're definitely not chasing it. It's just there's no structure to work with, and OBV is just like looks painful. So bare minimum, got to see a W in OBV before I can even start thinking about that one. So I don't like that either. But I don't know what you meant by LL, Cosmin. You said Gala and Ape have LL now. I don't know. Or lower lows, probably. Maybe you meant? I don't know what LL is. Maybe it's LL Cool J is shilling it on Twitter. Most of you are probably so young you don't even know who LL Cool J is. Anyway, Cosmin, hopefully you can see the difference between this name and like Pure. That's the most important takeaway here. Your odds are way better here. Even chasing Pure right here as opposed to buying Ape against the lows, I would say, especially in the climate we're in right at the moment where it's like Bitcoin's kind of teetering on whether it's going to hold support, but definitely has downside risk if it loses support. And really just, I do think that whatever summer rally we were hoping for was pretty muted. And so now we're heading into September here, which, by the way, it's 1st of September. Well, it's the 3rd now, but September is like historically a pretty bad month for the stock market. So I don't think we should be thinking Super Bowl through September in general. Doesn't mean it can't be different. It's just in general, I think historically September is not a great month. And it's also not the worst idea to just kind of assume that prices are going to sort of grind downwards into the end of the year, or at least into like September, October, November, kind of like they did last year. And so if you're buying something that's like like a Gala, you really don't have the wind at your back. Like there's not really a lot of like macro reasons to want to long this, and there's certainly no like structural reasons. So be careful with shit like this. And to be fair, like even Pure looks amazing, but it doesn't have the wind at its back per se. It just has an FA event in this case, but it just has structural reasons to take the trade, which is way better that's I base most of my trading off of that. I'm not thinking about I'm still let's see. I still think that, prices might struggle into the end of the year, but I'm also willing to if I'm going to take a shot on something, it's going to be something like this that's already set up as opposed to just grinding lower. So I don't know. See if there's anything else in the comments. I don't think Shogun knows LL Cool J. I mean, he's a legend either way, whether you like his music or not. Miko's saying DCA order will be hit for Ape. Yeah, so if you're dollar cost averaging, then sure, if you like Ape, like it sounds like Miku has a dollar cost average plan on Ape. So yeah, like I left that out actually because I don't really dollar cost average altcoins per se, so I'm not really thinking that way. But I wait for my W's and then I'll nibble. But yeah, if you're like wanting to own Ape, like this isn't the worst place to buy a little bit every week or whatever your plan is. And you're just basically going in once a week and just hitting the level and just you're gonna try to get averaged in at wherever this thing does bottom. Because clearly, like when it does bottom, it's gonna have a lot of upside. I mean, it's a 20x or back to the highs or maybe more. Looks like so. That's fine. That's a different strategy than like what I'm talking about. But certainly like when you're dollar cost averaging, you want to see this happen. You don't want to see it going up, right? So I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, I don't have a problem with almost dollar cost averaging any altcoin right now. If you, but I would say you should probably have a reason. Like you should want to own it for some reason, not just that you think it's going to pump tomorrow, because that's kind of not the point of dollar cost averaging. I think it's more like you want to own it and you just want to make sure you're averaging into a decent price when the bottom actually does come in and you're expecting it to go lower in the time being. Like dollar cost averaging Bitcoin right now, probably not. I mean, it's not, I suppose if you wanted to own Bitcoin and you don't have any, ironically, we are in reload zones. So like, it's not my favorite place to dollar cost average, but we are below 61.8 from the. So, like if you're trying to get into Bitcoin, you might consider a dollar cost averaging plan where you're just going to start once a week. Maybe you wait for it to come off a little bit, but even if you did it right here once a week, you just started buying into this. That's not like a degenerate way of trading. That's like a really healthy way of investing, I would say. Like just kind of being like, I'm just going to take whatever my amount is that I have and spread it out over the next 20 weeks or however long it takes for probably longer than 20 weeks for the the bull market to set up. In fact, I had a friend last cycle who I had told her to do that, and she just did. I mean, I've told a lot of people like that asked me, I would be like, well, set up a Coinbase account and just buy a little every week. And like most people never listen to me, never do. And this one person did. And I remember last cycle, she called me like when Bitcoin was ripping up, and she was up a lot. Never thought about crypto, never. She just actually set up an automatic I don't know if you can set it auto on Coinbase. She did it though. She like manually, or whatever she did, she bought like every week. And it's funny too, because she's like one of the most like together people I know. So it didn't surprise me that she had the ability to just implement a trading plan without even thinking about it. She just kind of took my advice and did it, and then it worked for her really well. So anyway, I was happy to hear from her about that, because usually it's like somebody bought the top and then they call you when they're way underwater after the bull. It's like Cosmin's posting some FA stuff about Gala, I assume. Oh, there's like a lawsuit between the founders. Wow, $130 million thing. So yeah, Gala Games. Well, that's interesting. So yeah, maybe the outcome of that lawsuit will sort of mark the bottom, but right on. Well, those are all the requests I have. I mean, I guess I have two more on my pink list here that I did highlight today, so I might as well talk about them. Really, one is this is a Coinbase name that I was pumping. I'm not in it. I saw it take off the other day. Kind of the week, I mean, made new lows. This is sort of like Gala right here, right? It was making new lows, but waiting for that W to come in, it wasn't the worst idea. And really, if you wanted to snipe like on a daily chart, you could have probably found a W in there as this fractal came in. But either way, that's a weekly W. But this is sort of like a line chart. It's not a W, so this is up to you really. You can see how I was making lower lows here, because the candle body closes were lower on the right side. So not a true, well, it depends what you define a true W as. I still call it a W. I just don't really love them. You can see they checked the level though. Like, I mean, I've said on all of these, like you could have let it break out, that day. And then the next week, you'd have had plenty of time to buy that level and probably banged a double out. Yeah, easily. Or wait, what am I talking about? Not bang a double. You'd be long right now. If you would have bought the breakout, you could have gotten a double. But anyway, the Wyckoff check came in. That's my point. And you could see the bounce. It's just sort of looking not like it's finished. It's not finished Wyckoff checking yet. But I like it. OBV divergence is now confirmed, like as we made a new low here, and then OBV confirmed. And now it's just a question of, do you get an opportunity to buy at a decent level? I think I'd like to buy this. And really, it's in the reload zone here. I was watching this already. I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't actually already buy it here. sort of dropped the ball there. And it's not a huge rush. I don't think this thing will probably still have to kind of round out. But same as a lot of these, now I got my reload zones here. We're sitting right in the middle of the reload zone. 78.6 was tagged. The breakout level was tagged a week before. 88.6 actually was tagged. So yeah, shame on me for not. I mean, I could have gotten I could have gotten 3 fills here. The breakout level, I suppose at this point, my point is it hit 88.6. I'm about to sneeze, sorry. So anyway, this one filled all the way down to 70 or 88.6. That said, it still just kind of looks like it's ran out of steam for the moment. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but I think there's still plenty of opportunities to buy down here at lower levels. So really basically anywhere around, I don't know, 24 cents. I mean, truthfully, I would be fine with just buying it right here, but I'm going to be a little more patient and just let this thing come down. But I probably will work some bids here. So got my eye on that one. And then I guess the last one, I've talked about this AGLD so much, but it's sort of become a favorite of mine. I don't even know why. I mean, I liked it because it was an early bottom here. Very nice, OBV divergence came through there, confirmed here in the middle of the W. And then if you were willing to wait another couple months, you could see the W finally came in. And if you're even more patient, which is where I entered, I missed this first pump, but then you could see it had weeks and weeks of time to buy anywhere against that level. Just lots of opportunity. And then the doubles happened here again. And then now I start buying it back basically at 78.6 here. So, and you can see it's fine in support at 78.6. OBV is still trending higher. It kind of emmed out a bit here, but it's still just very much strong looking. And so I love this one. Same story as the other one. There's probably going to be more time to buy lower. I have bids at this breakout level and also at 88.6. So I'll just kind of nibble at this. That's sort of my version of dollar cost averaging. I just kind of wait for my setup to come in and then I work 3 bids. It's a little different, but so anyway, this one I actually did buy higher here too. I hit Mountain Man if I remember correctly. So I did get a fill up here too. And so I'm buying back up my position after, getting a double off. And in general, this thing, kind of like Pure, but it was building a nice channel. It pumped. Now it's kind of back down and probably has time to build more of a channel. But either way, that's 46 cents or so. And, this is a potential 10Xer back to the old highs. And I don't know if there's more, maybe there's more data somewhere else on this probably, but this, if I remember correctly, only has 70 million coins out. And it seems like there's a diehard community around it. I don't know. But either way, that's just a really nice looking chart. So it's the kind of thing I'm after. And I think I'll just leave it at that. As far as looking at charts, covered a shit ton of names, as always. And of course, everything's, these ones I've been talking about aren't in the spreadsheet, the Road to Financial Freedom one as much because we are focused more on the bigger market cap coins for that plan. So some of these might fall into that, but I can't remember. I think Rune's in there. And but these I went through here, that's kind of where I'm at with them. And then, of course, I have a bunch more that I'm sort of just hunting and waiting for and stuff. But I'll talk about those on Tuesday. So if you want to join me on Tuesdays, I usually do that show right at the stock market close. So that would be 2.5 hours from right now. And so same thing. I'll post the link on if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll see it. And I'm going to do that same time every day. And I guess I could do it a little earlier if people wanted it. I mean, I know we have a lot of people on the other side of the world, so that's starting to get late for them. But maybe I could adjust that time a bit, a little earlier if that's what people requested. But otherwise, for now, I'm just going to keep doing that on Tuesdays. So, and then of course we'll be back every Sunday for this show, and until I don't know, who knows? Maybe we'll be doing this 5 years from now. We don't have any plans to stop. So we'll see. We'll see we'll just see how this whole. It'll be fascinating to see, once we are in a bull market, we can look back at these and just kind of see, everybody will sort of get an understanding for how long. I mean, it takes a while for this to build. It's I'm not expecting a rip roaring bull tomorrow. And also, if anything, there's just not even any public involved. I mean, there's barely anybody around. So it's going to take some time to get all those people interested again. So yeah, and then I guess I'll just end with saying, yeah, subscribe to our channel, join our Discord, the whole bit. We are starting our CAPUA I training program this month, pretty soon actually, like in a week or so. And that's just our sort of entry level to trading. We're trying to bring everybody up to speed to be able to trade with us in our group. And if you want more information about that, just reach out to Paul or myself, jump in the Discord room and just ask questions. And that's going to start next week though, so it's coming up quick. And we capped it at 20 people, so there's still spaces, but it could fill up, I suppose, here quickly. And yeah, if you want to do that, then again, that's like it's a 4-month program, but then there's another 8 months of just membership in our group and just hanging out and trading with us directly. So, I mean, the goal again is this is very much like a program to get people active in the market and actually trading setups with a plan. And it is focused on, I mean, we're kind of considering it like up through swing trading ish for this first part, but really it's focused on setup. So like if you learn the process, it should be a natural progression to start zooming in deeper and trading lower time frames. And that'll be like down the road. Stefan's working on sort of that part of it, like getting into the scalping. That'll be the second session of these sort of trading training. I kind of like a training program. It's like more like training you to do the job as opposed to just taking a course. And so, yeah, if you're interested in that, feel free to hit us up about that. And so I'll leave it at that. And I think that's about an hour and 36 minutes. So just a little bit over our allotted time. And again, I hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. We'll watch to see how this Sunday candle closes on some of these names, like Pierre especially, see if we can get a nice strong close. And then I'll just see you guys. I'll see you on Tuesday. And if you remember, Tuesdays also you could jump in our New York trading session if you want. So look out for that. And I'll just leave it at that. Say goodbye to everybody and have a good rest of your weekends. And see you this week for another trading week. So take care. Bye-bye.